Charlie's exit from Love Island USA shocked so many people, and honestly, I think we can all agree, it didn't feel fair.
Right from the beginning of his post-exit interview, Charlie was open and emotional about how it all went down, and it's clear that this was more than just a game for him. There was a real connection there with Hannah, and it's heartbreaking how everything turned around so quickly. Just when things were finally falling into place for them, Charlie started by saying how devastated he felt after being eliminated. It wasn't just the elimination that hurt, it was the way it happened. Those last few days in the villa were a roller coaster for him. He talked about how it felt like he was constantly fighting to win Hannah over, constantly unsure of where he stood.
But then, finally, there was a moment. A real moment.
Hannah sat down with him, looked him in the eyes, and told him he was the one she wanted to move forward with.
That wasn't just words. It felt like something clicked between them.
He described it as one of those classic Love Island moments where someone has their head turned, but then realizes what they truly want was there all along. They had agreed that no matter what came their way, they would face it together.
That's why this elimination stung even more.
He wasn't just saying goodbye to the villa, he was being forced to leave at the very point where it felt like his journey with Hannah was just beginning.
He called it robbed, and honestly, that feels like the right word.
He didn't get the chance to see where it could have gone, and now Hannah is continuing that journey with someone else, Pepe, the very guy he was in direct competition with. That's not just painful, it's downright cruel. Charlie admitted he hasn't been able to watch the new episodes.
And who could blame him? No one wants to watch someone they're falling for move on with someone else, especially in such a public and intense environment like the villa. He even compared it to seeing someone you like post with someone new on Instagram, except this is worse. It's on national TV, in front of millions. It's raw, and he's protecting himself emotionally by staying away from it for now. One of the most powerful parts of the interview was when he was asked if he expected Hannah to leave the villa with him. And honestly, his answer showed so much maturity and respect.
He said it never even crossed his mind to expect that. In fact, he said that even though he was robbed of this experience, he wouldn't wish the same on her. He wanted her to enjoy the journey, even if it meant without him. That says a lot about who Charlie is. He's not bitter or petty, just deeply hurt and disappointed.
But what about that moment, when he said his goodbyes to Hannah and promised to wait for her outside the villa?
That felt so real, like something straight out of a romance movie.
But now that Hannah's back with Pepe, does Charlie still feel the same way? He answered honestly, if Hannah truly moves on with Pepe, then he has to move on too.
He said he'll always cherish what they had, and that only the two of them really know how special their connection was.
But at the end of the day, if she chooses someone else, then it wasn't meant to be.
It's about acceptance now. Charlie didn't shy away from expressing how disappointed he was about the way things ended. He felt like there was so much more to explore in their connection. Their time together was different, fun, playful, full of laughter. They weren't like the other couples, always focused on drama or conflict.
They were goofy and genuine.
They were just happy.
And that's rare. Maybe that's why it hit him so hard. He believed in what they had.
He believed they were building something real. When asked about his final speech to the Islanders before the elimination, Charlie admitted he gave it everything he had.
He tried to show the group just how much the connection with Hannah meant to him.
He wasn't ready to leave, especially not after the emotional turning point they had just experienced. But deep down, he says he already knew the result.
He knew he was going to be the easy vote.
In his words, the girls were never going to vote out Huda, and he didn't know if Taylor would be in danger either. It became clear to him that he was the odd one out. What really hurt, though, were some of the individual votes, especially Amaya's and Sierra's. Amaya, who was close friends with Hannah, didn't seem to know about the heart-to-heart Charlie and Hannah had just had. If she had, Charlie feels like maybe the vote could have gone differently.
That's what makes it even more brutal.
It wasn't just that he lost a vote. It's that he lost a vote because the others didn't have the full picture. They didn't see how serious Hannah had been when she told Charlie she wanted to continue with him. They didn't realize how deeply he had fought for her. It's especially confusing because Amaya had told Charlie she understood why he was emotional and why he pulled her aside to talk before the vote. She acknowledged his emotions were high and that it made sense he was feeling impulsive. But then, she still voted him out.
That stings. He's left wondering if maybe she thought Hannah was leaning more toward Pepe, or if she was just trying to protect her friend, thinking that Hannah had moved on. Either way, it shows just how messy things can get in the villa when people don't know the full story. Charlie then opened up about who he thought should have gone home instead of him. He didn't name names harshly, but he pointed out that at the time, he didn't feel that Taylor and Alra's connection was as strong as his and Hannah's. He hadn't seen much intimacy between them or much chemistry. He said it didn't seem like they were on the same level emotionally, and he stood by the fact that he didn't deserve to go home. Then came the big question: would Charlie be open to returning for Casa Amor? And his answer? A big, enthusiastic yes. He's ready. He wants the chance to finish what he started. He said if Hannah had chosen Pepe in a normal elimination, he could have accepted it. But that's not what happened. He feels like the timing robbed him of a fair chance. So, yes, he wants to go back in. He wants to see what's still there with Hannah. He wants one more shot, one more moment to see if that spark still exists. And fans are here for it. People are flooding TikTok and Twitter saying he needs to return. And honestly, they're right. When asked if there was anyone else he'd be interested in exploring a connection with, Charlie was honest again. He said no, because he followed what made him happy, and from day one, that was Hannah. He felt a spark with her from the beginning, and they never stopped gravitating toward each other. Every time they walked into a room, they'd find each other. He laughed, saying maybe this loyal approach is what led to his downfall, since people often say in the villa you should explore multiple connections. But he has no regrets. He felt content and real in his journey, and it was all about Hannah. He did mention, though, that right now, watching the new episodes is just too painful. Seeing Hannah and Pepe on a date after he left crushed him. He had just fought for her, poured his heart out, and now she's moving on so fast? It hurt deeply, and he admitted he doesn't want to watch that unfold. Why would anyone want to watch someone they cared for move on so quickly? It's too much. But despite all the heartache, Charlie's still rooting for some of his friends in the villa. He mentioned Jeremiah, Nick, and Austin as people he's excited to see continue. He had special praise for Austin, calling him funny, authentic, and saying that he deserves to win, no matter who he ends up with. And it seems like Austin and Amaya are doing well. People are loving their vibe, especially after that hilarious meditation moment they had together. And now, the big drama in the villa after Charlie left? It was all about Huda and Jeremiah. Their relationship completely exploded. They went from being one of the most stable couples in the beginning to totally falling apart. Jeremiah is now coupled up with Iris, and Huda is alone. Some fans are even calling for Huda to be removed from the island, saying her behavior has been toxic. Charlie weighed in on that too. He said he always felt like the downfall of Huda and Jeremiah would be themselves, not a bombshell or outside force. From early on, they had these small arguments over really silly things, like the whole pancake incident, where Huda got upset that Jeremiah didn't make her one. Charlie said if someone made you feel like less of a man over pancakes, that's not a healthy dynamic. And that's exactly why he thinks they were always headed for a breakup. The pressure they put on each other just kept building. Finally, before wrapping up, Charlie was asked about a fan theory going around online: people are shipping Nick and Alandria. Even Nick's family is getting into it. But Charlie was surprised. He said he never sensed anything romantic between them while he was in the villa. As far as he could tell, Nick was focused on Sierra. But who knows, maybe something was happening under the radar. Or maybe it's all just fan speculation. At the end of the day, Charlie still has hope. He's open to coming back for Casa Amor. He still believes that his connection with Hannah deserves a second chance. And fans agree. Whether or not he gets that opportunity remains to be seen, but one thing's for sure: Charlie left the villa with his head held high, his heart wide open, and a whole lot of people rooting for him, and maybe, just maybe, his journey on Love Island USA isn't over yet.